Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. We are gonna go through real quick my, what month is it? September wrap up. Now, these aren't in any particular order because I'm a lazy, so I just pull them off my shelf. Wherever they came from is just where they landed in the pile. Alright, so first book I have is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. This book, I don't believe this is YA. I think this is just like sci-fi, dystopian-ish, more so dystopian, not as much sci-fi. How do I describe this book? First of all, I loved it. But be aware there's a lot of new vocabulary in this book. By new, I mean made the hell up. And it is totally, some of it is based on like old, like early 1900s slang, and then some of it is just brand new. So this book takes place in 2059 London, and Paige Mahoney, who is our main character, is a dreamwalker slash clairvoyant, which is basically illegal. So she is off the grid, so to speak, and in hiding until she gets captured and basically gets transported to this camp type thing. You call it a camp? It's like a work camp. It's weird. So it's basically like a sub-society that exists, but not for the reasons that they're telling everybody else. And there are some dark things going on in this camp. But it is a really good book, and I loved it, and I want to say it was a 5-star read for me. Now, if you listen to this book on audiobook, which I did because I was on a road trip at the time, you should probably have the book with you at any given time, because if you just listen to an audiobook and then you go pick up the sequel, you're going to be like, oh my god, what are these words? Because they're not pronounced like you think they are. Second book I have is A Torch Against the Night by Saba Tahir. This is a sequel to An Ember in the Ashes, and I loved it just as much as I loved An Ember in the Ashes. Now, I can't tell you what this one is about without telling you what An Ember in the Ashes is about, so I will probably do a talk separately for this one whenever I get my life together. This book, there's a section in the middle where I was just like, okay, this isn't as good as the first one, and then I got to the end and I was like, oh, this is better than the first one. There is a lot of stuff that you just flat out, you don't see coming, like, at all. And I really love the kind of, like, work an author puts into it when you can see, like, you don't see things coming, but when it happens, you see, like, all of the breadcrumbs from basically the entire, like, this book and the previous book, and just, oh my god, it was so good. It was so good. Of course, definitely 5-star read for me. Next two books I have here, I really can't talk about if you haven't read the first book, so that is Air Fire and Queen of Shadows, which are 3 and 4 in the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. Now, I have talked cash money shiznit about reading these because I didn't want to. I hated Throne of Glass a lot, but I loved A Court of Mist and Fury. So everybody kept telling me they get better, they get better, they get better. Okay, so I read book 2 and it was I read book 3 and it was okay, and then I read this one and I really liked it. So they progressively, all of them, get better as a whole. Now this one I will be rereading because I did just basically skim this one for all the wrong parts, so I'm going to have to read it again, but I got through it, so there is that. Like I said, can't really talk about anything in these if you hadn't read Throne of Glass, so I believe this one was a 3 and this one was a 4-star read for me. Then we have A Graceling by Kristen Kashor, and this was a part of my Teal Covers for September Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome Awareness Month. I did do a couple of blogs pertaining to polycystic ovarian syndrome, but I stopped doing them because they were just damn painful to record. So, sorry, not sorry. At any rate, Graceling is this fantasy book that's set in this world where people have these abilities, and you are marked as being graced by bi-colored eyes. Now, the color, I believe, of everybody's, like, their different color eyes, they're not all the same, so you can have God knows what kind of color combinations, and that will just, sometimes is how they identify you. But basically, if you are born with these bi-colored eyes, you are taken into the king's care, and then as you come into your grace, basically as you're discovering what it is you are graced with, if he finds it useful to him, he keeps you as part of his, like, army thing, servant, whatever, you're just his. But if you're not, he sends you back to your parents, and then you're kind of disgraced. Because not only are you weird and have this ability, but it's not even a useful one. Like, some people, our particular main character in this book is graced with killing. There are people who are graced with things like holding their breath for a really long time, or just, they're random. Like, it runs the gamut. So it was really unique, and I was kind of scared that this really unique premise was going to be ruined, because every time I'm like, oh, that's really different, I might like that, I read it and it's like, but it was a fail. This one I really, really, really enjoyed. Then we have The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. This one I ended up DNFing, guys. So this one is an urban fantasy kind of. This girl, the sister and a brother, I can't remember her name. Hazel and her brother Ben live in this place that is basically, if this was another book, I'd say they were on a fae line, but that wasn't in this book as far as I know. They basically live in this town where fae are a known thing, and it makes the town a tourist attraction. Now, in the middle of this forest, there is this horned boy that's basically in this Snow White-esque glass casket, and that is like, he's a tourist attraction. So it seemed pretty interesting. I really wanted to read it. I've been dying to get something on my hand on something of Holly Black's. It's supposed to be a dark fantasy, but it's more like urban fantasy, and then a lot of it is with high school kids, and it's not like when you read like Graceling and their high school age characters. No, these characters are actually in high school, which also gives them a certain level of stupidity that I don't care to read about. Sorry, but it's the truth. So already I was just like, because it was more like Sweet Valley High with fae in it, and I really don't care for like the everyday teenage drama thing. If you're going to give me 15, 16-year-old characters, there needs to be like some real world fantasy dragon drama that doesn't have anything to do with high school girlfriend boyfriend shit. And this one did. It was more contemporary than I thought it was going to be, and I knew it was something that I was not going to like, and thus I DNF'd it. Then I buddy read The Glass Arrow by Kristen Simmons with Bethany, and I will link her channel down below. I don't know if she's going to talk about this book or not yet, but this book, so many mixed feelings about this book. When you start this book, okay, I guess I should tell you guys what the book is about, right? Okay, so Aya is our main character, and this book is set in a dystopian world where women are basically property and are used for breeding purposes. Now, the vague kind of way it's described is that the way society came to be this way was because like the feminist movement or something or other got too out of hand, and the way the men decided they were going to squash it was to just put women completely underfoot and go back to like, you can't own property type of days. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me, but whatever, I'll keep reading. At any rate, so the beginning of this book takes place, and you see Aya, and she's like dead in the middle of like a chase scene, kind of like there's stuff going on in this action field, and you get really enthralled in it, and then the rest of the book is just slow AF. Things I had a problem with, Aya as a character was very friggin' selfish, very, very selfish. She was one of the rare females who kind of lived in the mountains or in the wild, and she wasn't a part of this weird society thing where they were auctioned off once you're of age. So she got caught. She basically goes to this place where she's going to get auctioned off, and she makes as much trouble as she can. And of course she doesn't get along with the females because she sees all kind of problems with the system, and none of the other women do. Like, none of them. Everybody is just very friggin' accepting of, yep, so I'm going to get auctioned off, and this guy is going to buy me, and I'm going to breed for him until, like, either I've had my first kid, and whatever happens after that, if he gets tired of me immediately after that, or he gets tired of me, like, way after that, then I'll get sold, you know, to less desirable people, because I've already had, you know, first child, and hopefully it's a nice person. Other than that, I'm getting sold to the brothel. And everybody's just chill with it. I was the only person that wasn't, but she was also very selfish in that in the whole book, she was just, save my own ass, don't know what's happening to you guys, deuces. So, there was a thing that happened at the end of the book that she did that I actually liked, because it's the kind of like thing where you're like, all your problems will be solved if you just do this one simple thing. And it's never happened, but it happened in this book. But the way it was executed, I was just like, but that wasn't what I was expecting it was gonna do. So, this is a story that it really wasn't about a, like, she helped bring about the revolution kind of a thing and women get their shit back. It's more so the story about a girl who doesn't agree with the system, but was basically like, I don't care what the fuck else y'all do. Bye. I'm getting out of here. No, that was it. That was it. You read a story that are about things like that, it's like things like the Hunger Games when you tear down the entire system, or like Red Rising where you tear down and then rebuild the entire system, or whatever. Like, you give me a book about these people that drastically oppress this thing that's really shitty, but then that's all. She didn't like it. That's it. So, at any rate, I still don't know how I feel about that. I think I gave it 3 stars because I really enjoyed the beginning and the parts that were faster, but the whole story ebbed and flowed. It was fast, then slow as hell. Then fast for a little bit, then slow as hell. Then it's the ending. So a lot of things didn't get explored, and a lot of things were not resolved. And just, yeah. Anyway, next book I buddy read with Kaylin, Katie, and Leanna, and I will link all of their channels down below. And you will probably want to go watch their videos anyway, because I was the only one that didn't finish it. I don't think any of us liked it, but I just could not make myself. Oh, and Steph. Sorry, Steph. I about to read this with Steph, too, like, separate from them, and she had a really hard time with it, too. So I'm glad it wasn't all of us. So I will link Steph's channel down below, but I don't know if Steph finished it or not. I have to check my Goodreads messages. But, so yeah. Buddy read this one with Kaylin, Katie, Steph, and Leanna. And then, I couldn't do it. For one, the main character was... Did I even tell you what this book is? I don't know. Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. Whatever. Leanna did one too, and I'm going to link her specifically of this book down below so you can see. But basically, the main character was just like dry toast. Boring. Boring, 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 boring. So she lives in Victorian times, and she's supposed to be all like... Basically, what I was expecting was Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. Like, it's really weird for a woman to be interested in, like, anatomy, physiology, any kind of medical anything, and that's what... I don't even remember her name. Jesus, Aubrey? Yeah, Audrey Rose. That's what she was interested in, but it was more so post-mortem, so with dead bodies. So, if you like Dr. Quinn, you kind of see where I saw that duology. Yeah, no. For one, Audrey Rose is boring as hell, and then it was historically inaccurate. It was so historically inaccurate that I just, several times, I wanted to throw the book. So, you're telling me, I mean, I get that you are an odd duck for a woman for this era, but some of the things that you're doing is just because you are not a product of your time doesn't mean like the rest of your family isn't, or that the rest of society isn't, and everybody was just casual as hell about these things that were just big deals back then. Like, she was just roaming around all over town where there's a murderer on the loose, you know, Jack the Ripper's on the loose, and I'm a female, and I'm, you know, how old is she, like 16, 17, 18, whatever, and it's dark, and it's the slums. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna wander the hell around with no friggin' escort. And then when somebody sees me and goes, girl, what the hell are you doing here? I'm going to go, what you mean? I do what I want. But it's 1888 though, and you don't have an escort. And Jack the Ripper's on the loose. And she's like, I do what I want. I DNF'd it. Yeah. There were other things that I didn't like that just proved that no research went into it. Like, dead bodies smell like raw chicken. What? I worked in hospice. That's a lie. But, okay. Whatever. So I just got really frustrated and I didn't finish it. I need to though, because I'm supposed to read the sequel with them next month. Then I have Morning Star by Pierce Brown, which is the conclusion to the Red Rising trilogy and Dear Sweet Baby Jesus. Oi. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, by the time I got to this book, all of the very long battle scenes got kind of tedious. And they weren't really exciting, and I was just like, if you're not gonna do anything quick, right? I don't care. Like, 2 books of battle scenes. Stop. But other than that, though, I freaking love the book. Like, there are still things that you don't see coming, and just, gosh, there is one thing that this guy knows how to do, and it's plot twists and character twists. Now, I will say also there is one spot in here that was kind of predictable if it wasn't Pierce Brosnan. What I mean by that is that I'm so used to him doing things I didn't expect. When something happened that was predictable, I didn't trust it. So I was like, you wouldn't do that. I know that's not what, but did you really? Like, I got scared. So, at any rate, like, this is one of these books I can't tell you jack diddly about this one if you haven't read the first and the second one, but if you like stabby, violent books with a lot of battles and a lot of just completely batshit insane characters, because Severo, oh my Jesus, Severo is hilarious and I love him. But don't tell Leanna that, because she'll fight everybody for him. This book is definitely one to read. And Iron Gold, which is a new either duology or trilogy that's set in this universe, is coming out soon in January, and I need it. Just, but be aware there are dark themes in here. This is not YA. Would you put it that way? It's not YA. Then we have, which I have not finished either of, Nevernight by J. Kristoff, which is naked because I'm reading it. I am on page 79. Usually I could have read this one really quickly, especially because I was on vacation. Usually a book of this size, but child, this book is dense. And dense, I mean not only in content, but in the size of said writing, and there are footnotes at the bottom, and some of these footnotes, like for instance this one, starts up here. And then some instances footnotes start like way the hell up here. So it takes a little longer because some of the footnotes are really relevant and some of them have a lot of world building stuff in it. So though thus far I really enjoy the content of the book, it is very friggin' dense. So there's no way. Like, don't pick up Nevernight and expect it to be a book you're gonna read in a day if you're normally a book a day kind of person. Not happening. That kind of was a kick to the ego. Because I had 3 days left. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna finish Nevernight real quick. Wrap up this TBR. Nope. And then lastly, I have, which one is it? Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo, which is the second book in the Grisha trilogy. Hi. This book, the trouble I have with these books is that they're very quick. But once you put them down, I don't really have the motivation to pick them back up. So Shadow and Bone I read in one sitting, and it was good. I enjoyed it. This one, I'm like, on the fence. One sitting I got from like beginning to 162, and I got to just where Nikolai is being introduced, and I put it down and then just forgot I was reading it and never picked it back up. I wanted to read it before Language of Thorns came out. Yeah, that didn't get done. But when I do pick it back up, like I'll finish it in less than a day. Alina's being kind of a dum-dum in this one, and she's frustrating me already. So just put it down. I hadn't picked it back up yet. And thus I had kind of a successful, because I believe that is 11 books, but I didn't complete half of them, I think. Let's see. 1, 2, 4 of them out of 11 I didn't complete. So I finished like maybe 8 books worth of content, if you count the DNF parts. I don't know. But that is my wrap up for that is my wrap up for September, guys. Thank you for watching. I will catch you in another video, probably my October TBR, because this one I'm going to film next. See you later. Bye.